this is Al. Today in this video we're looking at the Royal Snake Pokemon. I don't know if it's actually classified as that, but you know who I'm talking about. It's Serperior EX. Serperior EX is a card getting an EX treatment out of the starters for the next set, the Black Bolt White Flare set. We actually have one starter EX, it's Serperior EX, and this video is going to be looking at how this card might work best and some possible deck ideas and stuff, and what we're seeing in Japan is the usual stuff, you know what I mean? So it's gonna be fun. I hope you can join me for it. It's gonna be interesting, I have to say. There are some really interesting ones towards the end, so stay tuned. So Serperior is getting a buff within itself. It's the stage 2, a big stage 2 Pokemon, I would say, at 320 HP. Now, this thing has Royal Cheer. Attacks used by your Pokemon do 20 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. So, Serperior has this cool ability, and it actually stacks as well. So if you have multiple Serperior up and around, you can actually be hitting for more damage. Now, how viable that is, or how easy that is maybe another question, but that is kind of how it works with that ability. And it does affect your other Pokemon too, which is really nice. Sometimes there are specifications, like it has to be a basic, or it has to be something else, but this one seems to be across the board. Grass Order is its attack for 150 damage, 4 energy cost here. It's going to be 1 grass and 3 colorless. You may search your deck for up to 3 cards and put them into your hand and then shuffle your deck. But because of Serperior's ability, that actually counts towards this. So we're actually doing 170 damage rather than just the 150. Searching out 3 cards as an effect of the attack is also very interesting. Obviously, that's kind of vulnerable to hand disruption, but at the same time, if you don't have that hand disruption, like it's happened to you or whatnot, you can actually just, you know, search out for cards that you might chain together next turn, and that's really cool. So that is something. Now, there are ways we can build this deck to where it's easier to get that attack cost covered, because manually attaching, 4 energy is not really going to be so viable, I'm sure you can imagine. And so we're actually going to be utilizing a new special energy that is coming out in this set and really takes advantage of this, and it's going to be Ignition Energy. So Ignition Energy is a new special energy coming. It is cool. It's a 1 energy cost for all Pokemon, I believe, but then if it's an evolution Pokemon, which Serperior is, it's counting for 3 colorless energy. Now, the one thing with the Ignition Energy is that, at the end of the turn, you do have to discard the energy and stuff. You have to discard the Ignition Energy card, and so that is a stipulation. That is technically its downside, I would say, but at the same time, it's really nice to be able to just kind of slap that onto your evolution Pokemon and get that attack cost covered. That means for Serperior, you only really need to get that grass energy up preemptively, and then you can attach Ignition Energy and just start swinging, and then getting your 3 cards and your 170 damage, and more damage if you run more Serperior or other Pokemon that can help buff the damage output for this grass deck, for sure. Now, another way to find your evolution Pokemon and to find your Ignition Energy is going to be through Hilda. Hilda is a new supporter coming. She's really great. I like it. You get to search for an evolution Pokemon, and then you can search for an energy card, and it can be basic energy or it can be special energy, so she can seek out those Ignition Energies for you. So Grass Order can be covered, hopefully, with just an Ignition Energy, as well as a Grass attach as well, already there, or from something else and stuff. So that's kind of the main idea initially. Now, Grass Order on its own has a cool effect of getting 3 cards as well when it attacks, but, one has to wonder how we're going to be building this thing as well to get some bigger KOs and stuff too, and what might work well in the deck with it, with what we've got going on. One might be the Dunsparce engine I've been seeing, and we have a deck list here to show off one example of it, and sometimes I also see the Dunsparce EX for support as well, I think, and also being able to hit immediately with the 3 energy, if you so want to, with Ignition Energy for 150. That's just another option, but if you're going against a lot of EX Pokemon, then maybe Tenacious Tail is appealing. It does 60 for each of your opponent's EX in play. Now, the Ignition Energy does have that drawback of having to discard it at the end of the turn, but like I said, with Hilda and stuff, and the attack ability effect of being able to search for 3 cards and then put them into your hand, allows you to better plan and try and find your special energy and attack chain combos and stuff easier. Now here is that deck list mentioned or seen before as well. We have our Dunsparce engine going on, 2 Badoo, Fan Rotom to help find the Dunsparce early in the game and stuff, and then we've got an Ursaluna and Shaman to protect. We have 4 Ignition Energy. We're running 4 Grass Energy. Doesn't have to be tons, because, yeah, we only need the 1, really. And then we have Grand Tree as a stadium. One of them. There's a few other stadiums. But that is one example. Now, other builds for Serperior could also be grass builds, since it is a grass-type Pokemon in the first place. Now, one option could be Yanmega EX. I do mention the Yanmega EX video, where we kind of go over some various Yanmega EX decks and builds. But here's the card if you are unfamiliar or need a refresher. 280 HP on the Stage 1 Grass Pokemon with the ability Buzzing Boost. Once during your turn, when this Pokemon moves from the bench to the active spot, you may search your deck for up to 3 basic Grass Energy cards and attach them to this Pokemon and then shuffle your deck. And then Jet Cyclone is for 3 Grass Energy, 1 colorless, does 210, and you move 3 energy from this Pokemon to one of your bench Pokemon. So this could also be an effect to be able to attack with Yanmega and then have energy moved on to your Serperior, and that is another way to power it up easily, I would say. So I can see the clear synergy there. Here is an example deck list as well. We have 1 Hilda, we only have the 1 Ignition Energy, and we mostly have special energy of Jet Energy, which makes perfect sense with Yanmega, being able to zoom Yanmega from the bench and up to the active spot in order to attach energy and stuff. Really nice. Then we also have Prime Catcher and stuff. As the ace spec, we have, 9 Grass Energy, which is a bit, but that makes sense. And then here's kind of the more points that were reiterated upon earlier, how Grass Order can actually be 170 damage thanks to the actual buff going on automatically. And if you were to bench some more Serperior, like 4 of them on the field, it'd be plus 80 damage. However, with Serperior, unfortunately, I don't know if you're going to be doing that. I don't think that's a good idea, but we can find other ways to get our damage output a little higher. I would love to have it a little higher to be more viable as a deck, but we have other ways we can look at, including this. This was kind of the one that was very unique that caught my attention. When the sets release and stuff, we usually get 4 Heavenly Kings, like some deck lists from them and teachings and whatnot. And for this one, we got to see a deck list featuring Serperior EX in full swing, but also a 4/4 heavy line of Lilligant, and then Petalil, of course, the pre-evo, and then 3 Badoos in this deck, and 2 Tatsugiri. We also have the A-spec being Deluxe Bomb. Like, there's a lot going on here. We have 3 Grass Energy, 3 Ignition, and yeah, very interesting here. And if you forget, the Lilligant here is actually from Journey Together, so we already have it. And it is a nice buff with its ability Sunny Day, acting just like it does in the games, giving a 20 damage buff to your Grass and Fire-type Pokemon. So that is an extra bit of damage buff and output for our Serperior, potentially. The buff from Lilligant is 20 on top of the 20 from Serperior, and then if we have extra, of course, that's going to be additional damage output and stuff. The game plan, I think, with this would be mostly just get out Badoo and use Badoo to your advantage. Try to just item lock your opponent and stuff as you set up this board state that's going to hopefully have a few Pokemon. I mean, Serperior EX is very bulky and sturdy at 320 HP, so get those things online. We can get extra buffs with Lilligant when we actually start attacking and stuff, and go from there. So overall, a really interesting list. Honestly, I think Serperior EX, we're going to see how it does when we get the cards and everybody's like playing and, testing more and trying more things, and hopefully it might rise a little bit, but yeah, we'll see. I think the getting 3 cards is an interesting effect of an attack, and although the attack is initially kind of low, even with the 20 buff at 170, I think we can still try and get more damage off, and we'll see if it ends up being enough. But that is the overview of what's coming with this grass deck with our Serperior EX, and that's that. Now, I'm going to swap over to some gameplay and action. Here we go. This is going to be some gameplay on 2x speed, Serperior versus Emboar. Emboar is probably going to be the next deck we look at, but in this, it's going to be first starting with Emboar and Regigigas in the active. On to the next side, it's a bug catching set going down as an item card to look for a Snivy, but not finding Snivy, instead finding Servine and a Grass Energy, so double hit there with that. And this is going to be running with the Dunsparce engine going on here. We have our Ignition Energy, we have our Dunsparce EX and stuff, but we're going to go ahead and Iono, since we definitely want to find another way to get some Pokemon on the bench, of course. And now, on both sides, since it's so early on, it's going to be just a draw 6 for each. And this way, we can hopefully get some stuff. Yeah, here is a Grass Energy, as well as there's 2 Nest Balls, so we can go ahead with that. The first deck search, of course, looking for probably Badoo is nice in the early game, of course, and then the Snivies. There was actually only one Snivy available at this time in the deck, and so we got that one Snivy, along with, I think, settling on Badoo, since we already have the Dunsparce, and not too threatened by the solo Regigigas on the other side. But we're going to go ahead with that. Yeah, Badoo's really nice. Turn 1 item lock, you'll see, is kind of deadly. Attach energy for turn there, and then go ahead and retreat with the Dunsparce, and then do Itchy Pollen for 10 damage, and item locking. Oh boy, the item lock. Now, yeah, you're going to see item lock really locks. There's not really a way for us to get too much farther. We can play a card. I did not want to play the Professor's Research really to like just discard everything, but Arvin is going to search out a tool card and an item card. We just can't use the item card. But even the tool card, it's something. I was looking at the, there's the Baton as well, because Emboar and Regigigas are huge Pokemon, where we can transfer energy and stuff if there is a retreat cost of 4 on those things. But we're going to opt for a switch in a TM Evolution for the grabs off Arvin. Like I said, it's not going to be... Yeah, ideal. We don't have, it's not like we have Pokemon on the bench we can get powered up. We can't get them. So item lock being brutal, switching over to the other side now. On the other side, and this is good for Serperior. If you can like item lock and get some good turns, there is a draw with the Dunsparce for 3 cards, and then when you draw 3 cards with its ability, you shuffle it back into the deck. But as I was saying, you know, the early Badoo is a really good strategy for the Serperior, of course. And here is an Artisan going down, going out to find the Dunsparce again. It's a really fun draw engine because you're able to just reuse and reuse the Dunsparce and the Dunsparce in theory. And then we have our Serperior, but not Servine. We can go ahead and search it out with Ultra Ball potentially, looking at what to discard. Opting for, I wanted to Professor's Research after this, and so Serperior was going down anyway, but here's Servine. We can at least get closer to Serperior, and then here is that Professor's Research going down, discarding the 1, and then drawing 7 cards. Perfect. And like I said, not another Snivy on board, but it's fine. We can just Itchy Pollen again, item lock again, do 10, all that. So that's that. Now, there is Artisan available for the other side. We're going to go ahead and use that, of course, and we can get Pokaboo. I think that's his Japanese name. Yeah, something, Boo, like Wink and stuff, but he's very cute. We're going to grab him, and then, again, the item lock. Using Arvin again. I suppose we could have searched out Team Evolution, but I was more focused on getting initially the Baton, thinking that, you know, Regigigas, when it gets KO'd, we can at least move some energy onto the onto our Pokemon. But yeah, that's something. Yeah, item lock is annoying. It's annoying. Pass it off. You can see how annoying it is with that. And to open with the Regigigas, it's got such a high retreat cost and attack cost. But yeah, here on the other side, it's Arvin as well. Arvin's going to get Ultra Ball, so we can get our other Serperior EX out of the deck. And then there is not a tool grab happening. So go ahead with that. We're gonna, I think there is an option to do Dunsparce too, to see if we can just draw more and then get it that way. And so looking into the deck, not gonna go for that, just gonna get the Serperior. And then we can always, let's see, there's another energy attachment. Now, yeah, normally, I think, yeah, I don't know. We're gonna go ahead with Itchy Pollen again. Yeah, I would say, pretty much. I mean, might as well. The hand is... And since Serperior's on the field, it's giving a buff to all of our Pokemon. So Badoo just did 30 damage there. Not the usual, little 10. Okay, we're seeing this power of Serperior here. Right. All right, on the other side, we can go ahead and Artisan. We did not Artisan on the other side too, because I think I only had the one Dunsparce as well in the deck. I don't know. Anyway, Slugma is here. In this build of Emboar, I was kind of wanting to lean on Slugma, evolving into Magcargo, and then using that, but that's kind of all we can develop right now. And then on the other side, we're just taking our time. Now we can probably go for the Dunsparce draw. Yeah, using Ultra Ball, discarding 2 cards in order to go search through the deck. And then there is Dunsparce, I mean, yeah. And we can go ahead and draw 3 cards. And here are some more things, pieces, and we can shuffle them back in. Now, Serperior, like I said, it's really good to get powered up with the Ignition Energy, but we aren't doing that just now. We're going to Super Rod back in one of the Serperior, or the other Serperior, and then just go ahead with, I think, Serva. Yeah, we're going to shuffle stuff back in, and then go ahead with Artisan to get that Dunsparce back that we shuffled in. Of course, we're going to keep using that cycle. Then Earthen Vessel, so we can get the last Grass Energy out of the deck and use it on Serperior, so we can actually finally not attack with Badoo, but actually start swinging with the big snake. That's important. Good. Moving him up to the active spot, getting ready. Here we go. Alright, we can go ahead with that 170 damage we're doing for the KO, and then just deciding where to put that fire energy thanks to the heavy baton. Now, with the move effect, being able to find 3 cards out of the deck, you're seeing it in full swing here. Just kind of getting ready for the next turn. And like I said, it's kind of vulnerable to hand disruption, but hey, it's a cool effect to see in action and something. And then there we got off the prizes. Good stuff. Now, on the other side, the Devastation. Finally, though, we're off of item lock. No more of that, so we can finally use item cards, and we're going to be in full swing. So, opting to move up Slugma, because like I said, I wanted to make the attacker Magcargo, but that does not pan out exactly like that. Anyway, we're going to Artisan here for another Pokemon to put onto the bench. We go for Varoom. Yeah, there's even a Varoom Revavroom draw engine packed into this thing. Here is Nest Balls, 2 of them at a time to grab more Pokemon to set up with as well, of course. We all have, like I said, the Slugma, but we also have Darmanitan as a possible guy, and then here's another Tepig coming down too. So those are 2 right there. Then we can begin to hopefully search out our energy acceleration, wanting to get Emboar, because we did have Rare Candy in hand, and we would be able to, there we go, evolve into him, but with not a guarantee of Magcargo. And so opting for that instead with the Ultra Ball just meant that, yeah, we had to try and get it through research or something. So we're going to go ahead and attach energy before we research, and then just kind of hoping to get away another like Ultra Ball or another out to get Magcargo, but we did not get that. So that was really unfortunate to whiff. And yeah, definitely kind of a bummer. We can go ahead and, well, yeah, I think there are items to use, but opting to maybe just go for just whatever its attack. I think 20 damage it does, but for weakness, it does 40. There we go. Go to the other side now. Alright, over here. Now, here's another Dunsparce. Good. We also have Ignition Energy. Like I said, I would be trying to get another Serperior on the field, but we only had the one Snivy. That was until later when we get more. But here's Hilda being used to get our Dunsparce and Ignition Energy. We can go ahead and use Dunsparce's ability to draw 3 cards, shuffle him back into the deck, and then just be sure to use Artisan again to get the Dunsparce back. It's like clockwork. So good. Anyway, go ahead, KO that, get another prize. There's the other Snivy. Then we can go ahead and search for 3 more cards. We really ran through the deck. I think on both of these, end up going through a bit, well, at least the Serperior side. But yeah, you can see just grabbing some energy, some Serperior, the other one that we got, and so on. Then on to the other side. Now, the response. Who's going to be our attacker here? That was the question I was thinking of. We can evolve into Revavroom. Revavroom is a nice draw engine for some decks and stuff, and in here I kind of liked it, but we can go ahead and also do Earthen Vessel to get energy out of the deck, and we're gonna be, like I said, yeah, just trying to figure out who to go next, because we do have Darmanitan as a possible attacker, but Serperior is huge HP, staring it down. We can easily get rid of the Badoo with that, but like I said, it's kind of tough. And so over here, opting to go with a Serperior Energy Retrieval, for just some of the energy, because we do have our Emboar online. We're gonna go ahead and try and use some, yeah, but, oh man. Here is lining up for Darmanitan, so that's probably going to be the play. We can go ahead and use Riverroom's ability, discarding a basic energy card and drawing until 6, and then we got the Darmanitan as well as Jet Energy, so we're good for the Darmanitan attack. Might as well evolve, because we do have that Jet. We attach that. He shoots up into the active spot and is able to do 90 damage, but with weakness, it's going to be 180. And then 90 onto the Badoo, I believe. But then, of course, it gets double for weakness, but it's fine. Badoo is 30 HP. So, or no, we can opt for the Dunsparce. My bad. That is also an option. I guess the thought to just get rid of the draw and Shin one by one. There's another Dunsparce, but yeah, it's okay. I guess knock it out. Anyway, on the other side is going to be, yeah, Dunsparce in full swing, and we actually have this other Snivy down, which is good, because Serperior has been taking damage. Yeah, and let's see, now we can go ahead with, yeah, lining them up. I don't think I have Rare Candy in the Serperior build at all. I think you could consider, but, yeah, maybe for chaining more Serperior, it's nice, but there was Artisan for the Dunsparce, and then we can just go ahead with the attack and knock him out, and then there's a prize, and then get 3 cards from the deck. You can see how thin the deck is. It's very small. Now we can get our Dunsparce, a boss, all that, just planning for the next turn. Now on the other side, like I said, it's, yeah, man, tough. I think here is our big Emboar, but of course, he can attack and he will, but it was unfortunate to not be able to have other Slugma set up at the same time, or like earlier, like get the Mad Cargo in. Here is a Super Rod to put back some Pokemon as well that we need, and then we can use Artisan to go search out for Darmanitan or Daruma first and foremost, and then just checking the energy count, I think, as well in the deck. Yeah, it's definitely reminded me of, there's the Riverroom draw. We're drawing with 4 cards. There's all that. Okay, here's Nestball to get Fez for the draw from the KO that we can use. Flip the script, of course, draw 3 cards. Very nice. Those proxies are the Mad Cargos. I don't know where my Mad Cargos went, but I had to use proxies. Anyway, figuring out, yeah, the course of action, I think deciding that Emboar was going to be the attacker on this, and we're going to Serperior Energy Retrieval in order to get the energy we need, the 4, to attack with. And that's doing, but yeah, it's a bit. Anyway, we can also attach, yeah, we can put it there just to preemptively have it. And then go ahead with the KO, since we can hit for weakness and get rid of that big Serperior, taking 2 prize cards. But on the other side, how fast can we get Snivy up? How fast can we get another guy up, That's the question. All right. Now, as mentioned, it wasn't as easy, don't think, as, like, Rare Candy here. We're going to have to go ahead and instead go with Servine and probably there is a stretcher that can be utilized. Oh, I guess we're going to go for that in order to grab Dunsparce EX. Now, just have, like, I guess another attacker, but also another Pokemon with higher HP, so that 2 prizes can't be taken easily with Darmanitan next turn, I imagine. The hand size is huge. I don't know if it's, like, quite represented here, but man, the left side, the Serperior, huge hand, and that's what happens when you draw 3 cards when you attack. Anyway, Dunsparce is coming over here and using Ignition Energy, doing its attack of the second attack, doing 3 energy and discarding the Ignition Energy once it's done. I think we did a total of 150 energy, and we needed 160, I think, on Emboar. But there is Mad Cargo evolving up, and now it's a matter of, yeah, just deciding, because Emboar can't really one-shot the Dunsparce, could go after the Servine with the Prime Catcher in hand, as you see. Just trying to map out the turn. So going ahead with more energy, checking the deck to see if there's any more and stuff. There are 2, and then there is 1 left after that. So that is something. And then we can go ahead and look at, yeah, I think attaching, because, yeah, like I said, we can Prime Catcher and stuff, and I guess we're going to go with that. We're going to go with the Servine, and then we're going to go into the Magcargo attack. And Magcargo is allowing it to, you can discard fire energy off of it up to 5, and it does 70 damage for each fire energy you discard. And so in order to KO the Servine, I think we just need to discard the one of them, since it would hit for weakness, of course. And so that's the course of action, but it was, yeah, here we go. We can do that. I guess Magcargo can do. Magcargo's also huge in the active spot. Like, his retreat is crazy, but he has an ability where if he has no energy, he has free retreat or something. It's good. Now, on the other side, where the Emboar is gaining the lead. Come on. He's getting there. All right, here's Badoo up there. And, yeah, this was, like I said, it's ideal to have multiple Serperior up on your bench and on your field and stuff, but we kind of were, it was kind of wonky with that, with only the one early on, and then now Servine getting KO'd. But we move forward, you know. We're going to go ahead and attach onto the Dunsparce, then moving Badoo, and then putting him in the active spot, being able to go for, yeah, it's second attack. But first, we're going to Hilda just to look at the deck. Oh, wow, the deck is so small, as mentioned. We can go ahead with its second attack and do that. Take another prize, and then it's on to the other side as well. So, yeah, just trying to find a way to, like, get it through. So that is one thing with the Emboar deck, is, like, thankfully it has mostly these single prize Pokemon as it was built here. We just had the Fez, and just deciding on which attacker to maybe go for, because it's not quite as clean of getting a KO, and so we have to squish up the Dunsparce a little bit, I think. And then if we want to do Darmanitan, you know, squish up the Dunsparce and then KO Badoo. But here's an Arven going down for the supporter for the turn, and we're going to go look for, let's see, I don't believe there's any, oh, there's Air Balloon. There is Air Balloon to grab as well, and then we can go ahead with an item card of some sort. We can go Serperior, not the Serperior, the Superior Energy Retrieval. Anyway, yeah, tongue-twisting stuff. We can go ahead and look. All right, now, course of action here. We just gonna go through anticipating. Yeah, here is Darmanitan grabbed. So we're going to go ahead with, I think, Darmanitan, just have him up and available. We are going to probably, I think, soften with Emboar, and then hopefully it kind of rides on Darmanitan too, potentially. But here, we can go ahead and try that. So I think we're doing 150, or 120 we do. All right. Yeah, and then we can go ahead and, on the other side, man, we need to take 2 prize cards, and it's not like, well, our attack cannot hit Fez. Like, we're only doing 150 for 3 energy, but then the first attack, it does 60 for each EX your opponent has in play. But the Emboar deck, this one, only has the 1 Fezandipity, really, so it would not be doing enough stuff. And just deciding, though, that we can use 1 Jet Energy, though, to use its first attack for the 60, and we can KO Emboar, because, yeah, and just not waste the other Ignition Energy, knowing we're going to probably need the Ignition Energy as well. Here, we're going to put Darmanitan up. Oh, man, and, yeah, Darmanitan's just doing, like, the 90 damage for 2, but it's looking so rough. Not going to be enough. We are looking at the discard pile to see how much energy is in the discard, because Darmanitan's first attack does do 30 for each, and I think counting them up, it only did like 120 damage or so, I want to say. What? 30, yeah, something. But it was not enough, I believe. Then we can go ahead and, I think, just, let's see, grab Emboar so we can actually attach multiple energy to our Darmanitan at once. We're gonna have to Serperior Energy Retrieval or something. yeah, there we go. Just all of it, all in to get the 4 energy back. We can attach to Darmanitan the 3 and then just have one onto Emboar. It got kind of rough down here, down to the wire a little bit. So yeah, just deciding which attack to use as well. Opting to go with the second attack to take the KO on the Badoo and to squish up the Dunsparce, but that also meant discarding energy from Darmanitan, which is kind of unfortunate, but man, yeah, there we go. We take 1 prize for that, and then I think neck and neck. On the other side, though, we can go ahead and eke out a win, I think. Yeah, we should be good, but, man. What a thing. Here's our Ignition Energy. Go ahead and do 150. It's over. We get it. There we go. There, Serperior to Dunsparce. Serperior EX looks like it's going to be kind of fun. I'm curious to see how people might want to try and build it if they really want to play it, and I'm curious if you have your own ideas as well that you can share. Thank you so much for watching. It is wonderful. If you want to help spread the content further, get more support for these videos and whatnot, then feel free to like and comment, subscribe for more TCG content in the future. Promise you won't run out, and hopefully we are going to chug through some of the happenings in the TCG and make it look fun and stuff. Anyway, thank you so much for also supporting further with like membership, or even just being in the community and being in the Discord, or like helping out, and it means a lot. I think it's great to build something like this, and I am very thankful. So thank you for watching as well, and of course I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.